Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Today on the Young and the Restless, Alan and Tracy comfort one another, Ashley thanks Tucker, and Victor makes a request of both Cole and Michael. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. In Paris, Tracy looks out Ashley's apartment window in sighs. Ashley appears and says a couple hours of sleep felt magnificent. Not a peep from the altars. Tracy's so happy. She wonders if Alan got any sleep. They discuss the tragedy. Tracy imagines Alan will focus on making the arrangements for the clinic. Ashley doesn't want to go, but she has to figure out what created these altars in the first place. Tracy admires her for taking charge of her recovery. Ashley has to do it for a full recovery. There is one more thing I have to take care of, though before I go. Tracy's dismayed when she says she has to go see Tucker. Ashley said she owes him an explanation. Tracy says she can't walk away from that man, once and for all. Ashley insists he's doing this to get closure. Tracy doubts he'll allow it. Ashley can't be mad at him for showing up. Tracy admits his timing with Martin was perfect, but she doesn't have to engage with him. Ashley needs to do this. I can't go to that clinic without saying thank you. Tracy wants to go with her, but Ashley says she's got this. She assures her she's not one of her alters. If she was, would she agree to go to the clinic? Tracy relents and apologizes for doubting her. Ashley thinks she's entitled. Tracy is still worried she's in a fragile state. Ashley asks her to trust her on this and promises to be careful. I need to close this chapter so I can focus solely on my recovery. They hug. In Tucker's suite, he asks his assistant, Anne, to check if there were any messages from Ashley or Tracy Abbott. She only has several about Audra. Tucker can only imagine what she's up to now. Anne explains that Audra's been running into the board members and reminding them of the cover-up at McCall. She's claiming he's emotionally unstable. Tucker chuckles. He doesn't know her next move, but he taught her most of what she knows, but not everything he knows. In a cafe, Audra leaves someone a voicemail asking to meet and saying there is so much more about Tucker the world needs to know. Call me. Cole thanks Michael for meeting him in society. Michael cracks that they have a breakfast club for people on Victor's bad side. Cole apologizes for him losing his job. Michael has done this dance with Victor before. He learns the mustache told Cole to stay away from Victoria and Claire and thinks it's harsh. Cole has no intention of staying away and says Victor will have to come up with a different way to punish him. Just then, Victor appears and comments on the traitors with their heads together. Victor asks what they're conspiring about now. Cole says they aren't doing that. Never have, and never will. Michael insists they were looking out for him and are two of his biggest supporters. His hands are clean now. Victor says this is not about the outcome. It's about betrayal by two people he thought he could trust. I will not tolerate it. Cole wants to go talk about it in private, and Michael asks him to give them a chance to make their case. At the ranch, Michael braces himself for a confrontation with Victor. He and Cole walk into the living room, and Victor appears. So tell me what you would have done if I had not caught you with that excuse for a woman in the dungeon. Michael says they would have done what they did. Victor says they would have bungled it. She would have escaped. He complains that they went behind his back and betrayed him. Cole argues they protected him. Victor doesn't need their protection. Michael says firing him and keeping Cole from his family isn't a long-term solution. Victor barks. The hell it's not. Michael wants to know what they can do to make this up to him. Victor says there's nothing they can do to redeem themselves at this time. Michael exclaims, "Be reasonable." Victor refuses to surround himself with people he can't trust. He tells Cole to go back to Oxford. Michael says there was no conspiracy against him. They can see that they should have trusted him enough to tell him immediately what needed to be done instead of executing it on their own. Michael says they deserve a second chance. All's well that ends well. He sits and tells Victor he likes working for him and does a better job than any attorney out there. Cole doesn't deserve to lose the family he just found. Victor declares, "All right, you'll have to prove your loyalty to me again." Michael asks, "How you suggest we do that?" In the cafe, Audra flashes to her confrontation with Tucker about Glissade in the elevator in which he told her loves her. She picks up her phone and reads a text from Tucker saying he has a proposition for her. More. Fans let Devin have it. In Tucker's suite, He tells Ashley he's glad to see her, and leaves them to talk. They sit, and Tucker says he doesn't know where to start. "How are you doing?" Ashley rubs her jaw. "Well," Tucker says she looks great, all things considered. She thanks him for showing up and helping with Martin. Ashley lets him know that she's checking into a private clinic after this. Alan is making the arrangements. Tucker is glad she has support. Ashley goes over him, knowing something was wrong with her, and standing up to her family. She says, "Maybe you guessed. It seems I have dissociative identity disorder, multiple personalities. So don't blame me for what they did." They laugh a little. Tucker only knew she wasn't herself. He'll always know what makes the real you, you. In the cafe, Audra receives a call and asks if they're confirming their meeting. She's clearly disappointed and tries to reschedule, but is fobbed off. Audra thanks the secretary, disconnects, and fumes. Damn it. Tucker. Tracy lets Alan into Ashley's apartment, and he's stiff from the fall. He asks if Ashley's awake. Tracy says she got up and went to see Tucker to say goodbye and thank him for last night. Alan thinks that's understandable. Tracy admits she's concerned, although none of the alters came back. Alan isn't worried. Tucker showed genuine concern for Ashley. Tracy says he's hurt the people she loves too many times. Alan says he did something decent last night. Tracy still can't trust him. Alan thinks she's the kind of person to give the benefit of the doubt when she can. Tracy tries to, but when someone shows her who she is, she believes them. She sees decency in Alan, and is very grateful. In Tucker's suite, Ashley and Tucker joke about what her alters put him through. He quips, "More of you to love." He tells her it's the past, and now he wants her to be happy and healthy again. Ashley says, "Me too." She tells him what happened was very scary and very difficult for her to explain. Tucker asks if she'd like to try. Ashley tells Tucker that after their disagreement in the cafe, she met up with who she thought was Alan, but was Martin. She went to Alan's apartment and told him everything about their fight and their marriage. She's not quite sure what happened after that, but he was aggressive and full of rage. She blocked it out and doesn't remember, but she somehow conflated the two events. When she came out of it, she was blaming him instead of Martin for what happened. "It wasn't you, and whatever happened to me, to cause the psychological break and made the personalities come out. They were trying to protect me." Tucker worries that she's been through hell. Ashley cries that it would have been so much worse for her if he hadn't shown up. Tucker moves closer to comfort her. She wipes her tears and says she has to go to the clinic. Tucker wishes her all the healing and well-being she deserves. They embrace. They wish each other luck. She hopes he has success with Audra and with life. When she opens the door to leave, Audra is standing there. Ashley tells Audra not to think the worst. She was there to say goodbye to Tucker, who will fill her in on the rest. She wishes them the best in the future. Audra says that's not an issue anymore. Ashley repeats that she wants the best for both of them. She mentions not being in Genoa City for a while and goes. Tucker asks if Audra wants to come in. She says, "Not anymore," and leaves. Tucker follows her. In Ashley's apartment, Tracy's worried about Alan, who had to witness his brother's death. Alan just hopes he's at peace. Tracy thinks it's time to put his burden down. Alan thanks her. He assures her he's happy to help get Ashley the treatment she needs. Tracy asks him to promise to take care of his emotional needs too. She's heard that doctors are the worst patients. He chuckles that that's true. Alan notes that Tracy's been through quite an ordeal herself. Tracy will have a good cry, and maybe read a good book, or write a good book. Alan says that's later. What about now? Tracy worries that something really terrible has happened. Since she woke up this morning, she can't stop trembling. Alan asks if he can hug her, and he does. Ashley comes in and says she's ready to move forward. Alan tells her the clinic is expecting her shortly. They'll treat her with kindness and compassion. Tracy asks how things went with Tucker. She says, really well. Now she can move on with the next chapter of her life. Audra slams into her hotel suite and Tucker follows, calling her name. Let me explain. Audra says there's no explanation needed. He's a free man and can do whatever he wants. He wants to tell her what happened. Audra doesn't care. She's tired of his games. Tucker insists on explaining what happened with Ashley. Audra wants to know why he let her think they were still together. She tells him Ashley can finally see him for what he is. And so do I, Tucker asks. How long are we going to do this? This dance of ours. Audra fumes that he always assumes that they feel the same way about things. But she has the emotions of a normal human being, and he doesn't. He guesses she's curious about his proposition. But first, please let me explain. Give me 5 minutes, and I promise it will change everything. In the ranch, Cole says, "Okay, Victor. Name it. I'm up for the challenge." Michael cautions Cole. He's had assignments from Victor that landed him in a Peruvian prison. Victor says he has a separate request for both of them. To start, he wants Michael to rekindle his friendship with Diane Jenkins. Victor's request for Cole involves Claire working in the Abbott household. He wants him to strike up a friendship with Kyle and get to know him better. Cole asks why. Victor says, "That's of no interest to you right now." Cole wants to know. Victor says he's trying to protect his daughter, Cole's daughter, and his great-grandson. Michael asks about the request involving Diane. Victor says they're all in the same family. Michael says the only through line he can think of between Kyle and Diane is Jack Abbott. What are you up to now, Victor? Next on The Young and the Restless, Victor reveals a new business strategy to the family. Nikki confides in Lauren, and Adam experiences deja vu with Victoria.